For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas. On the second day of a 72-hour truce between the Israeli army and the Palestinian forces in Gaza, Palestinians are assessing the aftermath of the Israeli attack. The Gaza Ministry of Health placed the death toll at over 1,800 killed, including 430 children. The Ministry of Information in Gaza says that over 10,000 homes have been damaged by the Israeli airstrikes. Over 1,700 of them were completely destroyed. The total cost of the damage inflicted by the assault is estimated at some $6 billion. That's almost 3 times the gross domestic product of Gaza. For the latest, let's go to our Gaza correspondent, Noor Harazin.
The second day of the 72 hours ceasefire is just like the first day. The situation is calm, it's peaceful in Gaza. The people are feeling safe to go out to the streets. Banks are open, shops are open. And the good thing is that the people on the ground are optimistic, especially after an Israeli delegation arrived to Cairo to negotiate a long-term ceasefire. So this made the people on the ground, the people of Gaza, more optimistic about a long-term ceasefire that could make them go back to their normal life, just like before the operation.
After 37 years, a leading human rights campaigner in Argentina has been reunited with her grandson, who was stolen by Argentina's military dictatorship during the country's brutal, dirty war. For more on this, we go to our correspondent in Argentina, Leo Cadudi.
The president of the Association of Grandmothers of Plaza de Mayo, Estela de Carlotto, experienced on Tuesday undoubtedly one of the happiest days of her life. After 37 years of intense struggle, this brave woman, a leading campaigner of the human rights movement in Argentina, recuperates the son of her daughter Laura, who was kidnapped, gave birth to a baby boy while handcuffed to a bed and named him Guido, before he was taken away from her 5 hours later. She was murdered 2 months after the birth of her baby boy. Guido is the 114th recuperated grandchild.
She said she always dreamed of this. Estela always fought to get to this, and I think that fighting is the appropriate word. She fought with a way to convey, with a form of dialogue with the society that is unique. The truth is that Estela is a reference point for us. This is also in part due to the new policies on human rights.
Guido, who is now a 36-year-old man who was named Ignacio by his appropriators, is a pianist and lives in the countryside. He initiated contact with the grandmothers of Plaza de Mayo, or abuelas as they're broadly referred to as in Argentina, because he had doubts about his identity. His DNA test came back with a 99.999% positive result.
Ya le he podido ver. Es hermoso.
I've been able to meet him. He is wonderful. He is an artist. He is a good man. And he searched for me. What we grandmothers said came true. They will look for us like we will keep looking for them.
Ellos nos van a buscar como nosotros los seguimos buscando.
The grandmothers of Plaza de Mayo have been struggling for over 35 years to recuperate their grandchildren, who were stolen by the civil-military dictatorship, which also tortured, murdered and looted the Argentine economy between 1976 and 1983. The organisation recognised internationally as an example in the struggle for human rights.
Argentina's dirty war carried out against left-wing activists was one of Latin America's bloodiest. The military regime ruled from 1976, when they overthrew Isabel Perón, until elections in 1983. Human rights organizations estimate that upwards of 30,000 people were killed or disappeared. An estimated 500 children of detained women were born in military camps and then handed over to other families. A Senate commission in Colombia will soon debate possible links between a former president and paramilitary death squads. Senator and former President Álvaro Uribe has been accused of having links to Colombia's right-wing paramilitaries, as well as the drug traffickers that financed and armed these organizations. The debate was approved by 10-3 vote by Congress, and they hope that Uribe will participate. Meanwhile, peace talks between the Colombian government and the country's guerrillas continue. Yesterday, both sides issued a joint statement. Both the FARC and the government highlighted the importance of listening to the victims of human rights abuses to ensure that human rights violations will not continue in the future. As global calls for seed privatization continue to worry both farmers and consumers, Costa Rica has taken a unique step to buck the trend. The country will declare maize, a plant native to the Americas, as part of the country's cultural heritage. The presidential decree emphasizes the importance of developing and conserving native seeds as part of Costa Rica's ancestry. Groups within the country are currently debating the constitutionality of genetically modified seeds. Today marks the 69th anniversary of one of the most horrific acts in human history, the nuclear attack on Hiroshima. Tens of thousands of Japanese commemorated the dropping of the atomic bomb by U.S. forces on the Japanese city, which killed at least 80,000 people in minutes. The bombing of Hiroshima marked the first nuclear attack in history. The ceremony today included survivors of the bombing as well as U.S. Ambassador Caroline Kennedy, who gathered in the Peace Memorial Park to mark the occasion. With the death toll of the worst Ebola outbreak in history rising, and with the first suspected death outside the African continent, the World Health Organization has called emergency talks aimed at stopping the spread of the virus. If a global health emergency is declared by the World Health Organization, the use of experimental treatments may be considered. The UN Security Council has discussed the humanitarian crisis in eastern Ukraine. The director of humanitarian operations at the UN warned that immediate action is required as the situation continues to worsen. Power and water are becoming scarce there, and residents continue to endure Ukrainian army assaults. Russia's UN ambassador Vitaly Churkin calls the situation disastrous and has offered Russian support for international humanitarian action. The owners of a Florida clinic at the center of a baseball scandal pleaded guilty yesterday to distribution of testosterone. Anthony Bosch and 6 others face up to 10 years in prison for conspiracy to distribute testosterone. Authorities allege that professional athletes paid as much as $12,000 per month for performance-enhancing drugs. The scandal rocked Major League Baseball, leading to the suspension of superstar Alex Rodriguez, who will be forced to sit out the entire 2014 season. A number of other players are implicated in the scandal, including 2011 National League MVP Ryan Braun. More on those and other stories at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle.